What's good, Chaotic Nation? It's your boy Chaos here with another best team video. The best team is a full team of 6 Pokemon that are statistically the best Pokemon to use for a specific playthrough of a specific game. I test these teams through a live playthrough of the game right here on the channel, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of these live runs. You can also leave a like on this video to show your support for this series moving forward. It is a lot of work and it does take a lot of time to put this video together for you, so I hope you enjoy. I also need to clarify a few things about this best team before we jump into what the team actually is. This is the best team for Sapphire only. There are different teams for Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Emerald based on the differences between the 3 games. The team that I am using is obtained early throughout the game and is useful for their specific needs in the game. They are also the best option for their specific team slot. The team is equipped with HM moves unless there is a special space slotted for an HM user, so we can actually complete the game with this team and not have to constantly switch out our team in order to progress throughout the game. Now, we can take a look into what the team actually is. To start any best team, we are required to select a starter Pokemon. This is the first Pokemon that we have access to, and thus is required on our team in order to progress. The Hoenn region offers 3 really good starter Pokemon, making them all equally as viable as the others. However, there is one that rises just slightly above the others. Make your way to save Professor Birch from his wild Pokemon encounter and promptly mash the A button because Torchic will be our starter Pokemon. But Chaos, Torchic's a fire type, and the evil team uses water type Pokemon. Now let's not jump ahead of ourselves. I'll explain why Blaziken is the best Pokemon for us to use when we get to the usability section of this Pokemon. I do want to clarify that Blaziken is only slightly better than either of the other starters in what was the closest differential we've ever experienced in best team history, where the difference between all 3 Pokemon in usability is only separated by a single point. Our Blaziken will have the final moveset of Flamethrower or Fire Blast, Brick Break, Rock Smash, and Bulk Up. Flamethrower can be purchased from the Mauville Game Corner, or you can use level up moves until you get to Lily Cove to pick up Fire Blast from the department store. Brick Break can be found in Sootopolis City, which is accessed as soon as you get Dive from Steven. Rock Smash is found in Mauville City, and Bulk Up is learned at level 28. Blaziken is great in dealing with the rival Shroomish, Wally's Delcatty, Roselia, and Magneton, Matt's team, Shelly's team, Archie's team barring his Crobat, Brawly if you have Peck at that point in time, Watson's team, Norman's team, Winona's Skarmory, Wallace's Celio if needed, Sydney's team barring Sharpedo, Glacier's team with some caution, and Steven's team barring Claydol and Armaldo. You might be wondering why I did not mention the Blaziken vs Roxanne matchup as a good matchup. When I took a look at the gym leaders, I measured usefulness based on being on level with the gym leaders, meaning we would still have the basic form of our starter Pokemon at this point in time, thus we would not have access to any of the fighting moves that Combusken gets at that point. Of course, you can over level and make yourself a Combusken, which is very useful against Roxanne. Why Blaziken edges out the other starters is actually what looks like one of its biggest weaknesses: Team Aqua. None of the Sharpedo that Team Aqua uses have water moves. The only Sharpedo that does have a water move is Sydney's in the Elite Four, because Sharpedo does not learn water type moves in Generation 3, nor does Carvanha. Also, a great use of Blaziken is actually against Steven and relies on Blaze activating. I used Blaziken against his Aggron, which landed an Earthquake that brought Blaziken down into Blaze range, which means I can OHKO any of Steven's Pokemon that are weak to fire. Our next team member will help us early game as we get our starter set up. Catch a Wingull on one of the first routes and use it to help you get through the early parts of the game. Peller should end up with Surf, Fly, Wing Attack, and Ice Beam or Blizzard. Surf is given to you by Wally's dad in Petalburg, Fly is given to you by your rival on Route 119, Wing Attack is a level 1 move, and you can choose between either Ice Beam or Blizzard based on accuracy, power, and ease of access. Ice Beam is earned at the Mauville Game Corner, or you can pick up Blizzard at the Lily Cove department store. Pelipper deals with the rival Shroomish and Numel, Wally's Altaria and Roselia, Archie's Crobat, Roxanne, Brawly, Flannery, Winona's team with Ice Beam, Tate and Liza, Sydney's Grass types, Drake, and Steven's team. Now Pelipper is really only usable early on as a Pokemon to get the team running. So don't feel bad if you're late into the game and you're only using it as an HM user. It can be useful though if you keep it up to par, and it also is a really good option in case things go wrong. Our next team member requires you to get a copy of our buddy's Wally's team and pick up a Ralt outside of Petalburg. How Wally got the rarest Pokemon on the route as his first encounter is ridiculous, and many of us would not know it's there unless we actually had to do that side quest. Gardevoir would end up with Psychic, Thunderbolt, Thief, and Calm Mind. Psychic is learned at level 26, Thunderbolt is picked up from the Mauville Game Corner, or you can receive a copy from Watson after doing New Mauville. Thief is received from an Aqua Grunt in Slateport Museum and is useful dark coverage early on. Calm Mind is learned at level 21. Gardevoir has use against Wally's Roselia, Matt, Shelly, and Archie, all with caution for their dark-type Pokemon. Brawly, Winona, Tate and Liza if needed, Wallace if needed, Phoebe if needed, and Glacia if needed. Like Pelipper, this is mostly an early game Pokemon, but Gardevoir can be helpful as a setup sweeper should things go south for your team. We have to wait until we get to Slateport for our next encounter. Route 110 gives us access to electric types, and we are taking the best available one for our team in Electric. I will acknowledge that this Pokemon takes some time to be actually good, but it's a good thing we don't need it for quite some time, so make use of the other teammates until then. Manectric should end up with Thunderbolt, Bite, Thunder Wave, and Strength. You'll either need to pick up Thunderbolt from the Mauville Game Corner or grab the TM from Watson. Just remember that you need 2 copies of this total for your team. Bite is learned at level 39, Thunder Wave is learned at level 1, and Strength is a TM you receive in Rustturf Tunnel from the couple once you clear the path. Manectric can help with Matt's team, Shelly's team, Archie's team, Winona's team barring Altaria, Tate and Liza if needed, Wallace, Phoebe if needed, Glacia barring both Glalie, Drake for statuses, and overall generally as a good status condition Pokemon. We have a pretty fast team, but there are a few Pokemon that outspeed us that Manectric can slow down with Paralysis. We experience another sizable gap in our encounters as we have to wait to beat Flannery to grab our next encounter. Our rival will give us a pair of Go-Go Goggles, which allows us to access the desert on Route 111, where we pick up a Cacnea. Cacturn should know the moves Needle Arm, unless you prefer Giga Drain for recovery, Feint Attack, Growth, and Leech Seed. Needle Arm is learned at level 41. Until then, make use of the TMs you can pick up for Grass Stab, such as Bullet Seed and Giga Drain. Feint Attack is learned at level 29, Growth is learned at level 9, and Leech Seed is learned at level 13 for the only Pokemon that only has a fully level up moveset as its moves. Cacturn deals with a rival's starter, Wally's Gardevoir, which is a perfect counter since none of Gardevoir's damaging moves affect Cacturn, and Feint Attack doesn't miss so it can't set up double team against you. It's also good against Matt's water types, Shelly Sharpedo, Archie Sharpedo, Tate and Liza, but beware of Flamethrower on Solrock, Wallace with some caution for ice moves, Sydney Sharpedo, Phoebe's team, Drake's Flygons if needed, Steven's Claydol, Aggron, and Cradily, as well as just generally Leech Seed stalling things down if you have any problems. Cacturn is a crucial part of getting through the Elite Four as it counters big problems for the rest of the team in Sharpedo, and it straight up beats Phoebe. Cacturn also does better than Absol in this game because it offers Grass Stab as well as a higher special attack stat. Last and most certainly, and not least, is probably the best Pokemon we have on our team. We are required to get Surf first because we need a good rod to catch Carvanha. Sharpedo should have access to Waterfall, Ice Beam, Crunch, and Dive. Waterfall is found in the Cave of Origin. Until then, use Surf because you can always fly back to Lily Cove and remove Surf from your moveset and replace it with Waterfall. There's also no physical special split, so you don't have to worry about using the attack stat versus the special attack stat. Crunch is learned at level 22. Ice Beam is earned from the Mauville Game Corner. I do highly recommend that this is Ice Beam and not Blizzard because unlike Blizzard's miss rate, Ice Beam does not miss, and missing is a catastrophic problem for some of the fights in the Elite Four run. Dive is received from Steven out in Moss Deep after beating Tate and Liza. Sharpedo puts in the work against Winona, Tate and Liza, Sydney's Cacturn, and Shiftry if you're needed, Phoebe, Drake, and Steven's Claydol. Sharpedo is required to beat Altaria in Winona's gym because it will outspeed when on par level-wise. It also is really good for Drake because of the same reasons. And we also need it for Drake's Salamence because it's the only way to really beat Salamence. I also say make sure it's Ice Beam and not Blizzard because if you miss one attack on that Salamence, the game's done and you basically lose. We really don't have any other safe options for those battles otherwise, so Sharpedo is our best answer. Well, that's the best team for Sapphire. If this video helped you out, feel free to support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. I have linked a live playlist in the description below in case you want to see how the best team works for yourself in the playthrough that I did. You can also check out the description for more ways to support my content on other platforms such as Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, Discord, and my other YouTube channel, Invisible Corporations. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm Chaos, signing off. Stay safe, and as always, burn it up.